Hey, this is Jack Kruse, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the MagneticoSleep mattress. Most of you may have heard that I'm a pretty big advocate for it. We started talking about non-native EMF on the blog in 2013, and it's become a pretty big topic. But many people ask me about the Magnetico, um, and I wanted to share a little bit with you about it. The best way to mitigate EMF, as far as I'm concerned, was dictated through my N equals one probably about 5, 6 years ago when I discovered that I happened to live in an environment in my house and also because of my job uh, that has quite a bit of electromagnetic force that's non-native. My lifestyle is the problem. I happen to be a brain surgeon. I operate in a very artificial environment. I happen to be in that environment 3 to 4 days a week, and it significantly put me at risk. And these are risks that I didn't find out until later down the pike when I started to see abnormalities in some of my labs that I tracked over time. Most of you know that I use labs to track things every quarter and then reestablish or adjust things in my lifestyle that need to be adjusted. One of the big things that I realized, like I said, about 5.5 years ago, was that days that I went into surgery, I was having more significant problems with sleep. So after doing a couple of biohacks, I started to find out that the Magnetico sleep mattress reestablishes my magnetic field that I live and sleep in. In fact, it actually worked to stabilize the four things that make up the quantum cell that we talked about on the blog in 2013. Those things being the magnetic force, water chemistry, the photoelectric effect, and then the proteins that are made in our DNA and RNA. Many people did not understand when we first started talking about the Magnetico how that worked. But I think now that we're further down the pike in the blog talking about the basic science, it's pretty simple to understand. The pad actually limits Brownian motion so that the native electromagnetic force that's found on the earth can correctly read my RNA and DNA so that they can be expressed appropriately to keep me well. That's really the ultimate effect, put very succinctly. How this happens is found really in the quantum scaling blog that goes by the name Quantum Biology 8. And y'all can look it up and reread the blog. Basically, it's also been reiterated in several of the blogs in the Energy and Epigenetics series that we did in the second half of 2013. The one that is probably the most important for people to understand is the sleep vortex when I talked about it in the Quantum Sleep blog, how it affects DHEA, melatonin, and cortisol cycles in the brain. I found in my N equals one that the Magnetico mattress actually extended my cold thermogenesis value, meaning that I can spend less time in cold water yet get the same effect. I also found in my N equals one that detoxification works better for my liver because the redox potential is improved because of the action of thiol groups on certain amino acids in my body. It also turned out that it taught me on days where I face a higher electromagnetic force, such as when I work around x-rays, that there's certain foods that I need to eat while I sleep on that mattress and I'm doing my CT. And these things, I'm sure, are things that we'll talk about over time when we talk about the application of how I employ these things. But the basic foundation is that the mattress can really help us. Now, the physics behind the device is derived from the application of something called the Lorimer frequency formula, which you'll soon learn about in a coming blog in a little bit more detail. The formula states that by increasing the magnetic field in which any atom exists in, the velocity of the electrons and the protons will be increased proportionally. So the stronger the magnet, the more force we can exert on the two charged particles, namely electrons and protons, that act directly in our mitochondria. As both of these subatomic particles are charged, their velocities are altered, and this directly alters the magnetic resonance in your cells because it is also changed. And this is exactly how the electromagnetic force is designed to act. It acts on charged particles. Magnetic resonance is not something that we use to generate pictures of your insides when you come to see a neurosurgeon. This is actually a physical phenomenon that we can learn about to alter in our favor when we understand how pulsed electromagnetic forces or static electromagnetic fields can alter the current coming from and to the brain. This current happens at a very specific vibrational harmonic, and the frequency can be targeted to different tissues or even organelles, such as the mitochondria that generate ATP and deal with electrons from foods. There's a huge benefit to mitochondria in sleep when we introduce a no frequency, no pulsing, no rippling magnetic field, just a strong, steady state magnetic field. That's the main benefit of the MagneticoSleep mattress, according to me, and my N=1. You might find, like I did, that this is one of the best ways to mitigate your excessive non-native EMF when you use it with my CT protocol, especially if you do it within a few hours of going to bed. For me, it's been the #1 big change in my life over the last 5.5 years. And it's something that was additive to all the dietary changes and the ancestral principles that we talk about quite frequently on the forums. So I hope this helps explain to you the basis of why I think a Magnetico is something that people should consider if they have a lot of non-native EMF in their local environment. Take care. Hope you found this helpful.